ordered out. Trying to give some.
We're live and we got people here.
Restaurants.
Oh, that's okay.
What, what's his last name?
Greg Nana. Greg Nana.
Look at all the metal behind Julie.
My son's little track career. It was a small track career.
Very successful.
Oh, let's see.
We need this here, right? You muting everyone? So does the hand function work when they raise their hand? Hey, Vanu, raise your hand. I just want,
No.
oh, they couldn't hear us either?
Yeah, I just had a.
Oh, Vanu, raise your hand. I just want to see if the hand function's working. No, I don't mean, everybody's a comedian. Oh, but we can't hear, I can't hear Vanu.
Because I have him muted.
Oh, okay. Hold on a second, Vanu. You're muted still.
Let's see. Yeah, he's
Yes,
unmuted
now,
now.
now you can hear me, now you can see me raise my hand.
Okay, perfect, perfect. Should I do all this at the beginning, or this just goes where it belongs, right?
No,
Why can't we use Zoom? Can anybody hear me?
No, we can't hear you, Lauren. I'm kidding.
I can't see anybody on this, and I can't get my computer to work for volume, so I'm talking to you on my cell phone.
Okay, you're live to the community. We're all live now, even though we haven't started.
Oh, okay.
Quick overview.
I make a request to use Zoom next time.
We're working on that. Go ahead.
it's insecure.
Oh, I know. Go ahead.
So after you do the public meetings,
Yeah.
then you could go on to this.
All of it?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
So I can't have this open and the agenda open at the same time.
I don't know how to answer that question.
Any suggestions?
We can mail
How is
her
everyone
a
doing it,
packet.
guys?
So for the next meeting, we can send you a hard copy printout?
No, but how is everyone else doing it today?
I don't know, Vanu, how are you seeing both? You have two computers?
Hold on, let me take everybody.
Unmute everyone.
Okay.
Okay, but
And so I can flip back and forth.
how are you doing it?
I'm logged in to my tablet and I can flip back and forth.
Okay.
All right, I have two photometers.
All right, so maybe, Lauren, you and Vanu have an offline conversation about how that will work and make it easier for you.
I'm doing it through the iPad. She has the same iPad.
Okay.
So she just needs to download the app.
Oh, you need to download the app?
Right.
Well, okay,
Yeah, the app won't let me.
okay, so,
Lauren, in my case, I just went to the email that Lizette sent out and I clicked on join meeting. And it just allowed me to go right in.
That's what I did, but it won't, the camera and the microphone are, it's okay.
Okay,
We
all
can
right.
proceed, figure it out.
all right. Okay, so let's just go down the list here. Julie, are you here? Vanu, of course. Yep, Adam, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Jeff?
Yep.
And Dan?
Here.
And Lauren, okay.
Here,
Bill is also on. Omar is on.
Bill is here, and Omar is here.
Susan, are you on? No.
Susan's on.
Susan.
Ah.
Susan was on.
hello, oh, I'm on.
You're there? Okay. All right, we ready to start then?
Yeah, and then we have a resident. He's on mute.
We have a
Andrew,
resident on mute. Okay, that's fine. All right, I'm gonna get started here. In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act, PL 1975, Chapter 231, the notice requirements have been satisfied. Meeting dates for the year are confirmed at the annual meeting, are posted on the public bulletin board in the lobby of the municipal center, and published in the record within the first 10 days of the new year. Copies of all revised or additional meeting notices are sent via fax to the Record, the Suburbanite, and Northern Valley Press, and are posted on the bulletin board in the lobby of the Municipal Center. First, I'm going to start and ask for a moment of silence for Larry Gragnano, our DPW worker who worked for the borough. Yesterday was his 49th anniversary working for the borough. And Larry was the fellow who had that small miniature garbage truck picking up from everywhere around town. And we lost him to coronavirus 2 days ago, so it's really, it's hitting home. And for anybody who doesn't take this thing seriously, they're really kidding themselves. So I think we should have a moment of silence for Larry and his memory. Okay, to follow up, thank you everyone for that. A little overview of the coronavirus update. We in Tenafly right now, we have approximately 40 people who are confirmed positive. We know of 3 deaths of folks who live in Tenafly. And that doesn't include our friend Larry. He lived actually in another town, so he's not part of our Tenafly numbers because that's controlled at the town level. Right now, the state is going through a process with the county in terms of how they're calculating victims of coronavirus and those who are falling ill. And we'll have, hopefully tomorrow, some more precise numbers, although I do fear that the numbers will be higher than the 40, but we'll be ready for that tomorrow. On another topic, I'm going a little out of order here. Julie, you wanted to bring up a topic about overnight parking. Why don't you just share that with the council right now?
Yeah, hello, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, I wanted to propose to my fellow council people that given the situation with the coronavirus and how many college students are now moved back in with their families, that we suspend temporarily the overnight parking restrictions. Fairlawn has now done that, just realizing that there's a lot more family members at home, people having to move back home for different reasons. So that's what I'd like to do to ease some burden for our townspeople. Any way we could do that or any objections, let me know.
Whose hand is up?
I agree with it, Julie. I think it's a great idea. I think it's very important, and a way we can provide some relief to our community.
Jeff?
Can we do this by some sort of an emergency resolution rather than just leaving it to non-enforcement? Because then the word might not get out there, there might be more confusion. So if we did an emergency resolution that for however many days with the right to extend it, that we suspend overnight parking regulations. Ordinance would take too long.
So, I'm going to interject. Go ahead, Lizette. Go ahead, Lizette.
Other municipalities that have done it have just done it through an announcement, whether it's the Code Red or Nixle. It doesn't require a resolution or an ordinance given the emergency situation.
So, on that comment, I could ask the chief tomorrow to stop enforcing, and then I'm going to do a Code Red message tomorrow anyway to give an update to the community. And if the council would like me to, I can certainly include that as one of the issues that I'll tell the community that we're, for the duration of this particular crisis, we're suspending the parking issue with the street overnight.
I could also put it on the
Does
red
any of
line.
it have to do with safety at all, or it's just why is the law in place now?
Well, the law in place now is because, between the hours of 2 and 6, I mean, this is a historical regulation that controls the number of cars that are on the streets. You know, there was a time when, actually there is by ordinance right now, every house has to have a garage and driveways in order to put their cars in it specifically, so there is no parking on the street. It's a, you know, it's just a quality of life standard.
Okay, as long as it's a quality of life standard and not allows fire trucks to get to where they need to be or police, then I'm supportive of it.
Well, I will certainly raise the safety issue with the chief, and he can discuss that with the Chief Philpott from the fire department.
Great, thank you.
So is everyone in agreement? They want me to do that tomorrow in my message?
The only thing I might add is, you know, maybe say that it'll be a temporary measure as opposed to, you know, I mean, that should be obvious, but.
I will say it, absolutely. Okay.
And to Adam's question, which is a great question, it's not just about overnight aesthetics. Historically, police have used it to identify, you know, the suspicious activity in a neighborhood. If a car is on the street facing houses, for example, it's easier to spot at 2 or 3 in the morning. Whereas if you allow normally on-street parking, there are some safety concerns as well. But
Okay.
for the temporary, I think Julie's idea is great. I'm not worried about that in the short run.
Okay. All right, I'll take care of that tomorrow. Thank you. Adam, you wanted to, Councilman Michaels had a question, or you wanted to raise a topic about an app?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, so I had the chance to speak to most of my fellow council people. Obviously, communication has been critical, and some of the great work that the mayor's done already with the code reds is a great start to communication. The mayor and I became aware of some new technology that's coming out that is sort of like a communications and services platform that enhances the resident experience. I think they're actually piloting it and trying it at Englewood Hospital now. It's, you know, a 24/7 service of text and voice. I spoke to Lizette and all the HIPAA compliance, 7 years of backup, all the sort of prerequisites. What I'd like to ask the council today for is to have the CEO, the founder, come in at our next meeting. I think it's on the 21st. Ask all the questions that we need. I don't know enough, but anything resident friendly that could help us, particularly through this time, would be great to learn a little more of. So I'd love just the council's agreement to bring in the company, Pigeon, to the meeting, to the next meeting on the 21st, and we could see if it's something that's worthwhile for the borough.
How does everyone feel about that? Questions?
You have to raise your hand.
Raise your-
Unmute it. Let me just unmute everyone then.
Okay, just
The
unmute
council.
Unmute the council. Take your time. Take your time.
I'll keep it unmuted. Okay.
Are there any questions about that for Councilman Michaels? No? If not, okay, we'll schedule that for the next meeting as, in the work session?
Yes, what I would do, we're most likely still meeting remotely, so I
Right.
would, Councilman Michaels would give me that person's email address, and it would be the same thing as when the auditor did the presentation.
Okay, all right, good, all right.
Councilman Grossman had a great idea. I'm going to ask them if they have a presentation that they could send us in advance so we can read it and be a little more read before they come.
Yeah, I think that's a smart idea. The council typically likes to get information before the presentation so they can absorb it and have questions prepared.
Perfect, thank you.
Sooner the better.
Okay, great. All right.
Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions? Because we're going right into the resolutions, right? Does anyone have any questions about the resolutions? Somebody looking to ask a question?
I don't see any hands.
No, okay. No questions about the resolutions?
I have one quick question.
Go ahead.
I noticed the Bergen County fee that they're extending 1 year. I guess that's the garbage tonnage.
Yes.
And I just want to know how that fee compares to last year's. That was my only question.
I believe it went up $3 a ton, but it's already incorporated in our current budget. It was about $3 a ton it went up.
Okay, so it is incorporated.
Yes. Well, as soon as I received notification, I worked on it with Susan to include it in the budget.
Is Susan unmuted?
Yes.
Susan, do you have anything to add to that?
No, that's fine.
Okay. Any other questions about resolutions?
I did have a question on the last resolution on the checks for $10, no cash, more than $10. Again, I assume, just want to say it out loud, that doesn't hinder anybody in any sense that a certain group doesn't have checks or money orders. I know costs money. I just want to make sure that it doesn't put any of our residents at a disadvantage.
That's Susan.
Susan, why don't you address that?
Okay, so cash is a legal tender except under the current circumstances with the coronavirus and how everybody, we have a lot of residents who did pay in cash and some who didn't. But those who paid in cash, I'm sure could pay online or by check. They don't really need to pay by money order. They just would need a check or a bank check if they couldn't get that. But we don't really want to continue to subsidize people from handling the cash, and then we have to double count it. And we don't think at this time it's a wise move to have cash coming into the borough. But we have a drop box now in the front where people can read the checks for the tax payments that are forthcoming, where we would never want anybody to put any cash in there. So there's multiple reasons why we adopted that.
That's fine, as long as-
We adopt that resolution.
That's fine.
And Susan,
Yes.
this allows for electronic fund transfers as well, even though it's not stated in there?
Well, strictly adopt that we don't accept any cash in excess of $10. The electronic transfers are not affected by this. It's physical documents, cash coming into the municipality. So we want less interaction with multiple pieces of paper, really.
Okay.
I have another question.
Go ahead, Lauren.
Susan, I want to talk about Luderman bills or the Labor and Employment Council bills. I just want to make sure that you're comfortable with them.
Yes, in fact, we purposely put them,
Here she is.
we're not meeting in purpose, in person. We purposely attached them to the, agenda so that you could see each bill. And if you notice, this is a bill that, before we took 10% off, he lowered his, time from 0.3 to 0.2. So I would think that we're not gonna take the 10% off this time. And that's what I would like to get an okay from all of you, because, Mr. Ruderman asked that today.
If he lowered the time, I'm okay, as you stated, without taking the additional 10%.
Okay, great. Is everybody else?
Yeah, I'm just voicing my opinion, not voting on it, obviously, but I do see, to Lauren's question, that it's gone to 0.2s rather than what it was previously for minimums.
But there was some point ones.
That's even better. That's even better.
Yeah,
You see some, yeah.
we want to lower.
Any other questions from council members about that? Okay, we're ready to adjourn, right?
Yes.
Okay, could I get a motion to adjourn the work session? And a second?
Second.
Okay, we're going to go, I'm going to assume no one needs a break. We're going to go right into the regular public meeting, and I will read the open public meeting statement again. In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act, PL 1975, Chapter 231, the notice requirements have been satisfied. Meeting dates for the year are confirmed at the annual meeting, are posted on the public bulletin board in the lobby of the Municipal Center, and published in the record within the first 10 days of the new year. Copies of all revised or additional meeting notices are sent via fax to the Record, the Suburbanite, and Northern Valley Press and are posted on the public bulletin board in the lobby of the Municipal Center. Salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, roll call, please.
Yes. Councilmember Dayton?
Here.
Councilmember Grossman?
Here virtually.
Councilmember Menon?
Here.
Councilmember Michaels?
Present.
Councilmember O'Connor?
Here.
Councilmember Park?
Here.
Mayor Zinna?
Here. Okay, any revisions to the agenda? Looks like none. Okay. Next, we're going to go into public comments, and I believe we have one resident on the phone.
Andrew Till.
Okay, Mr. Till, did you want to make public comment?
I did. Can everyone see me, hear me?
We can certainly
Beautiful.
hear you.
All right.
Before you make your comments, you need to just state your name and your address for the record, please.
Sure. Andrew Till, 124 Oxford Drive.
Go ahead.
Anyway, all right. So thank you everyone for the minute here. I just wanted to thank everyone for their support. We've been working closely with Councilman Michaels and Mayor Zinna on our Tenafly Cares fundraiser, and thanks to Councilwoman Dayton for posting for us on her Facebook. And I think another resident in town called me up and said, I really want to support a restaurant outside of Tenafly, and I want to send it to the Tenafly Police Department. And I said, this all sounds like a great idea, but I think the food can come from Tenafly, and we love the police, but I think it could go to a better place even than the police department. So to date, we have raised, we had a raise today of almost, this is in less than 72 hours. We're at 20,941. Our goal was 30,000, and then we were very kindly given today, I think Councilman Michael was given a check from the Chinese Hand Association of Tenafly, $4,500. So we are very close to our $30,000 goal, and I want to thank everyone's support. I think this is a great thing because we know our downtown businesses are struggling, and we know that there's definitely people in need in town. There's people in town in need of meals and food and whatever. So, look, we want to raise the 30,000 so we can go 30 days straight at $1,000 a day. Split. I think Councilman Michaels and I decided right now to split it between two restaurants a day, so that we can, cut the borough can cut two $500 checks a day, and we can, incorporate as many restaurants as who've been included, and then send those 100 meals. We're going to do $10 a meal, and if everyone's read this, so we can send 100 meals out a day, and hopefully we can raise more than 30,000, and go for as long as we need. But anyway, I just wanted to just thank everyone for their support, and I think this is just a great thing that everyone's coming together to support those in need in town, whether it be businesses or residents, citizens, or whatnot. So that's all I had.
Lauren has a question.
And Lauren has a question. Go ahead, Lauren.
Well, first I want to thank Andrew Till and, of course, Councilman Michaels and Mayor Zinna and everyone else working on this. It's an unbelievable effort, and I'm really proud that our town is doing it. And thank you for all the residents who currently supported. I want to tell the public, if you're listening, if you need meals, if you need goods or services, please reach out to the borough. We are making lists. We are keeping track. We don't want any families to be hurting during this time any more so than they need to be. So please let us know. This is why Tenafly Cares exists.
I just want to make one note. Councilwoman Dayton, to your point, I reached out to Principal at the Principal Smith today, because I know that handing out families' names is a no-no. So I asked him to pass along our
elementary school principals and asked him if he knew of any families, could he please share the information with them so they could contact us? Because I know that the superintendent, obviously for legal reasons, can't tell us what she, who or what. So hopefully he'll be able to, help us with some of these names as well.
That's right. And I believe Mark, or Mayor, you've spoken with Shauna DeMarco on this issue.
So,
And hopefully we'll get our message across that way.
Yeah, the superintendent of the schools and I have had several conversations about this. She fully supports it. She loves the idea. Andrew, she also says thank you. And we're working out the details of how many meals for the families of the children on the school lunch program. And those will be, delivered over to the school to be distributed the way the school is distributing them now, so that those families' confidentiality is protected, and we keep moving forward. So that's underway. And Banu, you had a question?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I applaud everybody's efforts in this, and I think this is a great idea. I wanted to know what the, specifically in terms of mechanics, what is the borough's involvement in this directly?
So,
where, I understand that Tenafly Cares is a private endeavor. Why is the borough involved?
for full disclosure for a recording of all the details and full disclosure of the use of all the funds, which will be publicly available to anyone who wants to request it through the Oprah process. That's a significant reason. Plus, another issue, there are a couple of borough employees, that are incidentally involved in the communication of the entire process, and we're keeping track of who is receiving the food and to what restaurants it's going to. But primarily, this helps with the legitimate disclosure of all the details, so anyone who has contributed to this fund can understand exactly where the money went.
Bill has his hand
And
raised,
Bill-
I'm telling him to text me.
And hold up,
So in terms of finding out where the information and what that information is, you said where to go?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand your question, I'm sorry.
Where should we go to find out that information? You had just said, sorry.
In terms of how the money is used?
Used and what the borough's involvement is.
Okay, so we have, Susan has set up, and Susan, correct me if I'm using the wrong phrases here, but she's basically setting up a particular account within the trust fund to track all the money. So like any other appropriation and expenditure and revenue source, we'll have a full accounting in our system of exactly what is transpiring.
Okay, I think I should add something to that, Mayor.
Go ahead, please do.
Okay, so basically, there's a group, Tenafly Cares, which is separate from the borough. And in addition to Tenafly Cares, the borough has set up a trust that residents can also donate to, where it's used for the same purpose, where meals could be provided to the Tenafly residents. And with that, there will be cooperative evidence to support anything that the borough does as it relates to this trust. Now, Tenafly Cares collects funds for the same purpose, and Tenafly Cares wishes to donate to the borough trust, then we could allocate the funds the same exact way.
Adam, Councilman Michaels has a question next.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. No, I just wanted to, like Councilman Dayton, I wanted to thank Andrew, who really spearheaded this and kicked us in the butt to make this work. So hats off to Andrew. Also to Christine from the Chamber and all the local residents, all the local restaurants. So they've been terrific. Spoke to probably 30 plus restaurants in town. And everybody wants to help. So it is such an amazing feeling to feel the residents that want to help, the restaurants. We really are in this together, and it feels wonderful. It really makes me proud. So thank you to everybody.
And I just want to do a shout out to Andrew Till, because while everyone here is supporting it, and Councilman Michaels is putting in strong efforts here too, you know, Andrew was the brainchild of this, and so I want to thank you personally for your efforts and attention to our community. Thank you.
You're welcome. Do you mind, can I just say one more thing?
Go right ahead.
Again, I think that from a private resident standpoint, a lot of times you see bureaucracy get in the way of things, and I think that one of your question about why is the town involved? I think it was a good question. It was something that I really requested because I felt the transparency was so important. And again, that's a big part of my thanks to all of you, because without your help in allowing for the money to go into this trust and then be distributed, it just it's going to make everything much easier and add a lot more trust from people who are donating to know that it's being handled, by being distributed by the borough. So again, I think a lot of times, again, bureaucracy gets in the way, and I feel like in this case it did not. And everyone worked together to help us let this money flow into one central place. So thanks again, and I hope we can keep this going, raise more, and obviously I hope that this whole coronavirus situation ends. But in the meantime, I'm glad that we all can help.
Thanks, Andrew.
Bill has his hand raised, but I hope he texts me.
Bill McClure is communicating with us. Bill, you texting?
Yes, I'm here.
Did you want to speak, or are you texting?
Got me unmuted?
You're unmuted.
Oh, okay. Ask me something, or? I'm definitely not turning my video on, because you don't want to see me.
Okay. Did you have a comment to make, Bill?
Oh, no.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Hands raised.
Okay,
Can I add something?
of course, Julie, go ahead.
I wanted to thank Mr. Till. Your efforts are amazing, and I'm just really so impressed by the money you've raised and your team has raised. I just wanted to say I did mention this to Councilman Michaels when he called about the idea originally, and I'm just so humbled by all the work you're doing. I just wanted to use this opportunity to remind everybody that during times of financial crisis, so many people are forced to give up their pets because it's so expensive to feed them. So I had mentioned to Councilman Michaels that possibly something to consider is we do have the pet store in town that has pet food, and I just thought that might be one of the things you might want to consider when deciding about ways that you could help residents financial distress, like the pet food store as well, being involved.
We want to try to help as many people as we can. Those who can't serve dinners, we'd like them to serve coffee. So any of these ideas, I'm sure we can, work it out.
Okay,
Oh, wait, Christine emailed me a question.
okay, we have a question from a resident that's been emailed to Lizette.
Yes, from Christine Evron, 39 Leroy Street. She commented on the parking relaxation. Extra cars remaining on the street will make it more difficult for walkers to walk safely. Cars should not be in regular use, so it's not a hardship for families to stack cars.
Okay, thank you, Christine. Okay, are there any other public comments? And thank you again, Andrew. Lauren has her hand up.
Welcome.
Go ahead, Lauren.
While we're recognizing people doing amazing things in our town, I want to recognize two other people. I cannot thank this person enough. Ellie Gina Park, who owns Sewn Cute, which is one of the brand new stores here in Tenafly, and Christina McLaughlin, who is now at House of Color. Between the two of them, one is sewing, one is providing fabric. We are making masks for our local hospitals here in Tenafly. The New York Times today had a New York mask sewing tutorial. So if anybody wants to help, please contact Sewn Cute or House of Color. They need sewers in town. They need people who have skills or sewing machines. And there's been enormous So if anyone's interested, our local businesses are trying and coming up with amazing and creative ways to help.
That's fabulous. Are people sewing from home? And then,
Yes.
so the material will be delivered or picked up or brought to their home somehow?
I'm not sure how that's working. I know right now material is being brought into Sew Cute for Ellie
Okay,
to do her work, and I know she was looking for additional help.
okay, that's great. All right, we'll spread that word. Okay, thank you. Okay, if there's no other public comment that we see, we're gonna move on to, could I get a motion to approve the consent agenda, please?
So moved.
The second?
Second.
Need a roll call?
Yes, I'll do it right now.
Lizette's gonna do the roll call.
Councilmember Dayton,
Yes.
Councilmember Grossman,
Yes.
Councilmember Menon,
Yes.
Councilmember Michaels. You went somewhere. Councilmember O'Connor.
No, sorry, yes, I was on mute.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay. Councilmember O'Connor,
Yes.
Councilmember Park.
Yes.
Okay, committee reports. Julie, why don't we start with you?
Sure, just an update with the census committee. As you will see, there is something on the Borough of Tenafly website dated March 25th, gives you some census information. Just some important facts people should know. The census has, it's already underway. And I'm also going to follow it up tonight, sending the phone response information to be posted. This will give you a phone number and different phone numbers associated with different languages. So that can also be posted. And I'm open, Mr. Mayor, and anybody else, for how best you think we can maybe use that electronic billboard in the center of town to just flash a reminder about the census, because
Sure.
it does matter.
Of course.
That we have very high participation. So I'm going to follow up with the phone numbers, and I just wanted to say that's where we're at with that. Obviously, no time soon will we be able to give in-person assistance, unfortunately.
Okay. Anything else, Julie?
Benu had his hand up.
No,
Okay.
I think that's all committee reports for now.
Vanu, we'll go with you next, please, and I think you also had a question, it looks like?
Yeah, I had a quick question for Julie. I was just wondering, what is the April 1st deadline date? What does that represent?
No, so that is the date that who's living with you on April 1st. We have many more months to complete it.
Okay.
That's the snapshot of who's living with you on April 1st.
Okay, so there was no other deadline of, you have to get something in by that date. That's just the date of record. Okay.
Right.
Okay, and as far as committee reports, no committee reports. The senior center, board meeting was canceled, and the board of adjustment meeting was canceled as well, and moved on to another date, I think.
Okay, thank you, Vanu. Councilman Grossman?
No meetings have been held, but I do want to mention that for stigma-free, Reverend Weber and Amy Morrick have been sending out emails, and one of the things that they want to work on, and we're probably going to have a Zoom meeting or some sort of meeting next Monday, is with these stressful times, potential depression and other issues, how the stigma-free committee can weigh in and help support residents who might need that kind of emotional or mental support at this time. So hopefully I'll be able to report on that at the next meeting.
Okay. All right, is that it?
That's it.
Councilman Michaels?
We had a chamber meeting last night, 2 nights ago. 3 things. One, Christine's been doing a great job. We've brought a number of speakers in to help with SBA loans and things like that. So we had a meeting. We had a speaker yesterday, and then and there's another speaker tomorrow. So that's one. Two, the chamber shared a note with the mayor and borough administrator around looking into outdoor seating once once COVID has restrictions have been lifted. So we'll go through that. And then last, as I mentioned earlier, Christine's done a great job, literally going restaurant to restaurant to help answer questions about the Tenafly Cares work and donating meals. Her feedback was all the restaurants and eateries have been incredibly supportive. So those are the three things coming out of the chamber meeting.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Park.
No report.
Councilwoman Dayton.
I have two small, quick ones. First, Pride Day, our Pride Committee spoke a little bit. I want to acknowledge two of our Pride Day members are on the front lines. That's Scott Allen. He is on the front lines helping COVID patients at Holy Name. And of course, J.T. Fedetto, who's heading up our Tenafly ambulance. Thank you so much to both of them. Pride Day is looking to change its event to a fall date, so I have asked them to get in touch with RBA to see what the calendar's like, and hopefully we'll do some sort of Zoom flag raising of the Pride flag in June if we can. The second one is the Tenafly Nature Center. They would like to know how the town feels about possibly charging admissions for non-Tenafly residents. They are looking for ways to fundraise and raise money now that all of their programming has stopped and all their educational programming. So they would like to throw that out to the council and see what we feel about that idea.
I think, go ahead, Dan, Councilman Park.
Bill, I believe that's not possible because it was used with open space money back in the day, Bill.
I think Dan is correct. It was used, was Green Acres money that it was purchased with, and that's a legal question I think we need to have addressed before we get into the substance and the discussion of whether we should or not.
Okay. I'll let them know that we'll get a legal response on that.
Yeah, we'll do our homework,
And,
okay.
They are streaming live programs for our students every day. The Tenafly Nature Center workers are working tirelessly to come up with scientific and educational programming. So if you haven't tuned in, please do so. It's really great. So thank you for those workers as well. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Lauren. Is there any old business? No? Okay, we'll move on to new business. The first is the introduction.
No,
Go ahead, what?
yes, introduction of two ordinances.
Do you have to read them first?
I need a motion and a second, and then I will read the title.
Okay, so, could I get a motion on ordinance 20-04, please?
And 2005.
And 2005?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Lizette, can you read those, please?
Yes. Ordinances 20-04 and 20-05 were introduced tonight, and the hearing has been set for April 21st, 2020 at 8 p.m. or soon thereafter in the Tenafly Municipal Center, most likely remotely. And the ordinances are ordinance number 20-04, an ordinance authorizing an amendment to a March 29, 1978 lease agreement between the Borough of Tenafly and the Tenafly Nature Center Association, and ordinance number 20-05, calendar year 2020 ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank pursuant to NJSA 48:4-45.14.
You do a roll call?
Yes.
A roll call, please.
Councilmember Dayton?
Yes.
Councilmember Grossman?
Yes.
Councilmember Menon?
Yes.
Councilmember Michaels?
Yes.
Councilmember O'Connor?
Yes.
And Councilmember Park?
Yes.
Okay.
So for this one, someone's going to read it to make the motion, right?
To introduce the budget, I just need a motion to adopt resolution 20-159.
Could we get a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Roll call.
Okay. 20-159 is a resolution which introduces the 2020 municipal budget and sets the hearing for May 5th, 2020 at 8 p.m. or soon thereafter in the council chambers of the Tenafly Municipal Center for the adoption of the 2020 municipal budget.
Need a roll call on that?
Yes.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Dayton?
Yes.
Councilmember Grossman?
Yes.
Councilmember Menon?
Yes.
Councilmember Michaels?
Yes.
Councilmember O'Connor?
Yes.
Councilmember Park?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so thank you, everyone. So mayor's comments. So when we started this meeting, less than an hour ago, I announced that we had 40 coronavirus cases and 3 deaths in Tenafly. Literally in the past 45 minutes, we just got an email that number has increased to 46 confirmed cases in Tenafly. Fortunately, the death number has not risen. So I'm reiterating to the public that this is an incredibly serious issue. I took a ride around all these school parking lots today, and I'm happy to report that there was almost no one in any of the school playgrounds. So that's wonderful that the community is practicing the distancing, the social distancing, and that they're abiding by the request and the expectation of the governor not to be in the parks because they carry coronavirus all over the equipment. Some more housekeeping on this issue. Some of the recycling facilities in the state are starting to stress in terms of their own employees becoming sick. And we know of one plant in Western New Jersey that has closed their recycling operation. And so those communities are treating all their recycling as garbage. Bergen County is prepared, if that happens here, to potentially open up some of the closed landfills in Hudson County, over in Kearney, the Meadowlands, and places like that. And we're going to take that on a day-by-day basis. Our DPW department, which frankly has been working tirelessly, making a lot of sacrifices. We have 2 of our, in addition to Larry, who passed away, we have 2 of the DPW workers. We have 3, excuse me, who are confirmed with coronavirus. Then, of course, are home. And one of the things that's going on there, we are, making alternative plans in case we have problems picking up our recycling or garbage and what we might do with it. So that is constantly in motion. Every morning we continue with our 10:30 emergency meetings, which includes the police chief, the 2 police captains, DPW, administrator, and TVAC, to talk about things like supplies, where we're getting them, what's the latest news from around the community, and information flowing out of the state and the county OEM offices. One of the things we discussed today with Lizette and Susan and I were about our capital purchases and what we're slowing down purchasing on, so that we manage our cash flow, because we're unsure of what to expect over the next few months in terms of revenue. One of the topics is, for instance, the garbage trucks. We're in touch with the factory to see exactly when these trucks are really going to arrive, because we don't want to order garbage pails early or late or spend money we don't have to commit to at this time until we have to commit to it. Did you want me to add anything to that?
I have 2 things. I have the information on the garbage trucks.
Okay.
As of now, they're starting, we ordered 3. One will come May 25th, the other June 1st, and the other June 8th. They're coming from Canada. That's the status as of today. And with containers, they arrive within 5 to 7 weeks after cutting the purchase order.
5 to 7 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So
And-
we'll go ahead.
And then also, an item Councilmember Grossman brought up, on the April 21st agenda, there is on the work session a discussion for the entire governing body as a whole on the budget and spending freezes and things of that nature, as we get a closer picture of our finances.
Okay, okay, wonderful. We're settling in, thank you, Lizette. We're settling into a bit of a new normal here that's going on. And, you know, we'll get through it, and one of the lighter comments I'm going to make is, you know, this is our third council meeting where we've done this basically online. And the first one was a very difficult and challenging one. The second one, we did much better, and this one is pretty much seamless, and so as we do each one, we'll get better at it. And, you know, we'll work through this situation, and there's eventually going to be a light at the end of this tunnel. We know we're going to be here for at least another month, and, you know, we'll look forward to being on the other end of it. We just have to keep pushing forward. And those are my comments for tonight, and thanks everyone for their patience. And all we need now is a motion to adjourn, please.
Motion to adjourn.
Second? Okay, all in favor? All right. And Bill McClure, get healthy quick.
Thanks, Andy.
All right.
Have a good
Thank
night.
you, everyone.
Everybody, please take care.
Okay.